Oh, now our next guest came into our lives in the 80s as Scott Robinson in the hit Australian TV series Neighbours. He went on to take the music world by storm with his debut album 10 Good Reasons, which was one of the highest selling albums of 1989.
Yes, Jason Donovan has experienced incredible success over the years, and his many fans will be delighted to hear that he's coming right into your sitting rooms this Sunday in a special global concert, and we're delighted to have Jason on the show this morning. But before we chat to you, Jason, here's a trip down memory lane at some of his biggest hits.
Jason Donovan, a very good morning to you. A trip down memory lane.
Yeah, I haven't seen some of those clips for a while, and you know, I think as you get a little bit older, you begin to appreciate what's happened in the past. So I feel very lucky and very, very excited to be on your show today.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you, and you know, we've seen the effect of you being on our show that it's had on our audience. I mean, I don't know whether you saw the clip just before we came to air. I mean, Sharon, who's on the streets in Blanchardstown, is after singing Jason Donovan's song, and she knows the whole thing. And that's late 80s, early 90s. It's incredible, the longevity of the songs.
It is. I noticed her children didn't know any of the lyrics or any of the melody whatsoever. They just looked at her thinking, are you completely nuts? Where's Miley Cyrus or Justin Bieber, you know? But no, look, I think, you know, those songs, you know, such memories for many people, and it is sort of a soundtrack to, you know, a time, the late 80s, and as you mentioned, Neighbours, and, you know, it was a wonderful time. And that's what I'm excited next year to be bringing the show to Dublin, which is very exciting. And also this live show on Sunday night.
Yeah, which we can talk about in a moment. Jason, can I ask you, that lady bringing her children to school this morning, she, you know, would have eaten up Neighbours and Home and Away. At the time, we were completely consuming Neighbours and Home and Away in equal measure. I mean, they were huge hits in Ireland. When you were filming that, the Scott and Charlene characters on the set of Neighbours, did you guys realise how big Neighbours was outside of Australia?
I mean, to a certain degree, yes, because of the interest at the time. You know, I mean, there was no emails in those days, but the fan letters were sort of piling high in what we called our pigeonholes at work. And you know, it's, you know, England and Ireland and Wales and Scotland and Europe and the world was, you know, really starting to catch on to this TV show. I watched the Friends reunion the other night, which was a really interesting sort of thing to see because, you know, there's been countless times where people have said, you know, would you go back and how do you feel? And, you know, would you do a reunion? And you can't recreate the past. Unfortunately, what happens with those situations is the publicity becomes bigger than the moment itself, you know. So, but, you know, there was, you know, I think it's incredible to see what Neighbours has generated. And that's not just, you know, the joy, you know, that your guest, that your lady on the street, Sharon, I think it was before, you know, sort of showed. It's an emotional journey. There's been some incredible careers. There's been, you know, it's been going for nearly 35, 40 years, the show. And that's an incredible legacy for an Australian television show. So I'm proud of that.
What's very impressive about you, Jason, is your, you know, when you look at your career, is that you're not afraid to diversify. You know, you started, you know, in Neighbours, then you jumped into the world of pop music. But then you veered off into musical theatre. I mean, you're a man after my own heart. You've played in some of the best shows the West End has ever seen. Is that important to you that, you know, when you left Neighbours and you went down the music route, was it important for you that you had avenues open to yourself throughout your career?
Yeah, I mean, my father is an actor, and you know, my dad is still alive and a big part of my life. You know, he was brought up by my dad. You know, and he, you know, was always used to say to me, "You need to be as versatile as you possibly can," and you know, that sort of happened with Neighbours, and you know, watching Kylie and you know, realizing that other things can happen. You know, the leverage one can get from a show like this is enormous. So theatre's, you know, incredible, and live work I adore. I love music. I fell in love with the 3.5-minute song. It's very simple, you know. Music is a language. It's like magic. I see it as magic. When you put on Too Many Broken Hearts, you know, or Especially For You, or Any Dream Will Do, people light up because it takes you on a journey to a different time, and that is magic. And that's why I'm excited about this tour, which is going to happen for you guys. Unfortunately, we had to move dates from November, I think the first Dublin date, to the 2nd of March, Olympia. And it's been a while since I've been in Ireland, so I'm pumped, as the young kids would say, about that experience.
Well, we saw the first gig take place here last night as kind of a pilot event with James Vincent McMorrow, 500 people. So we're starting to move in the right direction. You'll be in the Olympia next year. Tell us about the streamed gig you're doing, Jason, on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, this was sort of a funny one because, you know, theatre and live, unfortunately, is not happening. We're getting these test pilots. You know, I'm involved as a producer for Priscilla, which is a show that's been to the Broad Gosh, I think, many times. Yeah. And so it's been really, really tough. You know, the government have been great in protecting the institutions of these buildings, but the people inside them create the magic as it is. So it's important we get back to that, and we are getting back to that. In the meantime, rather than watching Netflix or Line of Duty or you guys in the morning, you can stream a gig if you want to. And this was an opportunity that I sort of saw a few months back. And it was, you know, not only was it great to sing, and it was great to be involved with a group of people and produce something of quality, and, you know, give the fans, you know, some hope and, you know, of what's to come. So yeah, we're streaming that on Sunday night through Stable. I think it's a company called Stable.com. So
and what
exciting.
Can people expect, Jason? I mean, is it a straightforward concert? Is there interaction with the audience? Are there stories there, or what can people expect when they tune in?
There's stories. There's a lot of showbiz stories. There's a couple of lies in there as well. And there's all the hits and more. You know, that's what we sort of, there's some acoustic songs, and I listened to it and watched it last night. And I have to say, I sound pretty good. I'm pretty pleased.
Even if you do say so yourself.
With how I sound. Yeah, I think, you know, my singing and the band sound awesome. I sometimes look at myself and think, wow, you know, I'm looking a little more like 53, but that's okay. I'm trying to poise myself, guys, at the moment against the window so the sunlight sort of comes in beautifully.
It's taken weeks off you, in fairness. It's taken weeks off you.
You're looking well on it, Jason. We have all the details here to announce.
I'm trying.
So stay in touch, stay safe, and look after yourself.
Great
and we
to
look
talk
forward
to
to the gig here next year.
Yeah, love to everyone in Ireland.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Right, to find out more about Jason's online concert this Sunday, or about his Irish gigs next March, check out jasondonovan.com.
Now, after the break, we're talking fashion. See you in a few minutes at the catwalk.